In one of the most passionate hockey markets in the world lies a city that's been pleading to see a winning team for over half a century.
Daniel Sedin ahead and he scores! Henrik Sedin!
Round ahead for Murray. Murray going in. He scores! The Canucks go on to the Stanley Cup final.
With flashes of greatness
And Hughes dumped the puck back in. Campoli trying to clear it. Burrows shoots, scores!
to cruel reminders of an empty trophy case. More than the ocean breeze off the Pacific, this city breathes hockey.
The game was wonderful. We weren't expecting a win, but it was in our hearts. We won the game. We're winning the series. Let's go Canucks!
What the Canucks mean to the city of Vancouver, it means everything. You look at their history, Vancouver loves their team, the greater Vancouver area loves their team, and we see it every single year.
I want to win a championship before I leave this earth. I really do. And you know, I'm halfway there, maybe not. I'm 51 years old, so we'll see.
There's very, very few of these markets that cares more about their team than the Canucks fans care about the Vancouver Canucks.
Vancouver, the home of the Canucks and its enthusiastic fans that are anxiously waiting for their team to bring them a long overdue Stanley Cup. But how can a team go from one game away from the Western Conference Final
Looking to center at the post. JT Miller scores!
to a locker room feud that derails their entire season?
I don't know why people still try and make it up.
In this City Connect special, we'll dive into this season's Vancouver Canucks from behind the bench to on the ice to see if they're contenders
Hughes shoots, he scores!
or pretenders.
DeBrusk trying to find a teammate, but he put the puck right onto the stick of Mike Diasimon.
From experts like Elliot Friedman and Randeep Janda to the diehard fans that have been Canucks faithful since the team's inception, we'll try to answer what went wrong last year. Is an internal coaching change enough? Can their stars get back to form? And can the Vancouver Canucks find themselves back in the Stanley Cup playoffs?
Listen, you guys built this press back all year. I mean, the city loves you. It's because of you guys.
And then for it to snowball so quickly the other way, it is perplexing.
I can bring up PD and we can do the interview together if that would make you guys happy. It really did cause a nosedive for this team.
And everything that could have gone wrong did go wrong.
Welcome to the start of the 25-26 season.
26 seconds into the period. Brett Kulak able to put that one through Kevin Lankinen. Scores!
Well, this game has gone completely off script.
It looked like they had it in control up to a 3-0 lead into the second period, but the Canucks made it a one-goal game, and you felt it was going to be a battle royal in the third period, but it was all Edmonton.
Last season for the Vancouver Canucks can be summed up with one word.
Squash that noise. I'm not worried about any noise. The noise is between my ears.
Dealing with the noise.
Noise, noise, noise.
Lots and lots of noise that turned into a reported rift between two superstars in the Canucks leadership group, JT Miller and Elias Pettersson.
Same answer, it's good. I don't know why people still try and make it up.
A rift which took over headlines for the majority of the season and caused derailment for locker room culture and ended up seeing one side of that equation being shipped to New York.
I think a lot of things were personal. I don't believe that it was just down to two people. It filtered into the whole team. or most of the team, and affected the chemistry of our team. I do think that in a lot of ways, JT tried hard to help fix the situation.
Before donning the captaincy and starting a fresh new chapter in the Big Apple, Miller was a fan favorite on the West Coast.
Yeah, you wish you could do something. I wish, like I mentioned how old I am, like their dads. Come on, guys, bring it in. Let's figure this out. That's what I would do to my own two boys, but I'm not sure if they would listen to me. It's above my pay grade, so to speak. But it was very frustrating, and to waste, you don't want to waste seasons of Quinn Hughes in his prime.
Miller, during his tenure as a Canuck, felt the love from the fans most nights, but not so much by the highest paid player on the team, Swedish superstar Elias Pettersson.
Yeah, maybe we weren't the best of friends, but we respect each other as teammates.
So it's not about one guy or Millsy or Petey. You look at 82 games, it's 24 guys on a roster or whatever it is. It's not two guys, and I think everyone should be held accountable, not just we're going to put it on that for why we're in this position this year.
There's a lot of noise around our team this year, and I think just kind of within that all that noise, I kind of just wish that we kind of went in our room and maybe kind of squashed that noise a little earlier, maybe before some games, and just kind of refocused. I feel like we kind of let the noise creep in.
But why did this happen? How did we get here?
Yeah, that is the million-dollar question in Vancouver, and I don't know if we're ever going to find out that answer, at least while the players are in the NHL and they're playing.
What was the final nail in the coffin, and how can the Canucks move past the noise in the locker room?
I just think there was a personality clash, and they couldn't make it work. And finally, the Canucks got to the point where they said, we can't have this continue. We have to move on. They didn't want to move on, but they had to move on.
JT Miller is no longer on this team as a result of that, but that outside of those two players also had an impact on everybody else. If you're in a working culture that isn't the best environment, it does affect others in that room. And remember, these are the two of the three best players on the team. So when that's going on, when there is friction, it's gonna bring everybody else down too. I don't blame it solely on that, but it certainly had an impact.
I think they were just two people who were not compatible. Everybody thought it was over. Everybody thought that it had moved behind them, but it hadn't.
On top of a media mess, the Canucks were plagued by the injury bug.
Obviously, there's a lot of unforeseen things that happened this year. I think we only had two guys play full 82 games.
You had basically injuries to every single key player. Hughes was out for a bit, Besser was out for a bit, Petey was out for a bit. Of course, we talk about Demko. So, dressing room drama aside, you throw in an unhealthy team, a team that's maybe not talented enough to have so many top guys out. Well, that would decimate any team. Just made for a rough season.
There's some injuries that hurt them with the goalie, Demko. Yes, absolutely. But I still think that the biggest thing was just the exhaustion and frustration of dealing with the noise.
Drafted 5th overall in 2017, Elias Pettersson was poised to become the cornerstone offensive piece of the Canucks franchise for years to come. But this past season, feud and friction aside, Pettersson flat out underdelivered. 15 goals, 45 points, and was a minus player for the first time in his 7 seasons in the NHL. If the Canucks want to right the ship, it starts with Elias Pettersson.
If he's able to carry his weight and he's able to, have some output, I think that's going to be a huge factor in whether the Canucks are a playoff team or not.
They're going to try to play to Pettersson's strengths. How do you put him in a position to succeed? Letting him control the puck, having him be allowed to use creativity. They're going to put onus on him to say, okay, we're going to put you in a position where we can maximize your skills, and you have to take advantage of that too.
It's tough to say it comes down to one player, but when he's your number one center and when he's a player that we've seen some special things from, I think this year is going to be especially important for Elias Pettersson.
Resurgence of your star forward and a clean bill of health doesn't seem like too much to ask. What else needs to go right for the Canucks to get back to the Stanley Cup playoffs?
Congrats, Adam, and thank you. Welcome back. Thank you. Excited
to name Adam Foote the head coach of the Vancouver Canucks.
Vancouver's newest bench boss is a familiar face with the organization.
Into the Pittsburgh zone, Hughes drags left, nice move, shoots, he scores!
Having a key role as a defensive coach with the Canucks since 2022, the 22nd head coach in Canucks history, Adam Foote, is believed to have had a huge part in the development of Quinn Hughes and the rest of the blue line.
Naturally, people are gonna follow him, and so you can see that with the way our group has played. The identity he's had as a plan for our team is really starting to take shape, and that's just a credit to him and the way he operates.
Now he's responsible for filling the shoes of former Coach of the Year Rick Tocchet, and is now the 5th Canucks head coach in the last 8 years. This may be his introductory role as head coach, but if you ask the players and the staff, there's no better fit than Adam Foote.
He's just a natural leader, and so he brings that out, and that's why our players gravitate to him, and our players listen to him, and our players want to play for him, and that's ultimately, the biggest thing that a leader can do, and also the way he leads our staff, and we all collaborate on everything. Everyone has a great voice in there, and so when you're a natural leader like him and you combine that with his pedigree as a player.
A 2-time Stanley Cup champion with the Colorado Avalanche, over 20 seasons in the NHL, and over 1,500 penalty minutes. Adam Foote, the player, was a coach's ideal, physical, stay-at-home defenseman. Adam Foote, the NHL head coach, well, his play style may look entirely different.
We want to be able to adapt against our opponents. Like, I can't sit here and say we're going to be a rush team or a dump and chase team. We're going to be a team that adapts to our opponents, make them feel uncomfortable.
Relentless pressure, especially when we lose the puck. We've got in these last couple preseason games, particularly when we lose the puck, our forwards are just reloading back very hard. That allows our D to have great gaps, and we're just kind of having that constant pressure, those 5-man forechecks, things like that can be very hard to play against.
Here's an example of that relentless pressure earlier in the preseason. Down 3-0 against the Oilers, and the puck is in the offensive zone. Standard 2-forward forecheck with the winger Lecker Mackey already keyed on the back check. That opens up defenseman Filipronik to pinch. That causes a turnover along the half wall, and Ratu buries it off of this new relentless pressure we've been hearing from the Canucks staff.
We're going to find out what his brand of hockey looks like, but this is a guy who's super competitive. He competed hard as a player. Players respect guys who got to the level he did as a player, and they respect the way he delivered his message.
Overall, you want somebody who understands these personalities and needs to get the most out of these players. And if we look at this roster, Quinn Hughes is still there, Elias Pettersson's still there, Connor Garland, Thatcher Demko, Brock Besser, they all have new contracts. So you're dealing with a lot of the same personalities. You want somebody who understands how these guys tick.
We like a lot of our personnel, especially high up in our lineup. We feel like a lot of those guys are going to do very well offensively this year. A few areas that we're really focusing on is having our D join the rush more and join the play more. We want to get out of our zone faster and really have our D join all of those rushes.
That sounds like music to Canucks fans' ears, but as we've heard before, the noise creeping into the locker room can have massive impacts on and off the ice. Now, no noise is louder than the talk about the future contract of Canucks captain Quinn Hughes.
And the Vancouver Canucks, they have the opportunity, Joe, to take care of business. If they go out there and they play to the level that we saw 2 years ago and play like the team that gave Edmonton all it could handle, then the business will take care of itself in a good way. If they don't, well then you can start looking for the panic button.
Some see it as a referendum on Quinn Hughes, others see it as a maybe not so dramatic, but one thing is for sure. If this team clicks, Quinn Hughes has a good season, this is a playoff team. It's certainly going to make that decision, whatever that decision is in the end, one that is favorable to the Canucks. You have to have a winning culture, and I think that is priority number one for this organization.
Quinn's been fantastic to this point of the season. He's led us in practice every day. He's been all those areas that we've talked about with our team. He's been one of the guys, if not the guy, leading that. So as far as we're concerned as a coaching staff, he's here. He's been great so far, and we look forward to him having a great season.
Arguably the greatest defenseman in the history of the Canucks franchise, Quinn Hughes has cemented himself as one of the best players in the game today. But next year, Hughes is eligible for a contract extension to either stay in Vancouver or possibly head to Newark to play with his brothers in Jersey.
And it may not boil down to money with him. You know, he said before he wants to play with his brothers. And that would be partly out of our control, in our control if we brought his brothers here. Well, we got to be careful with tampering here, so we'll just leave it at that. I probably crossed the line anyways.
With all eyes on the Canucks captain's future with the team, this season seems like it's win and keep Quinn, and lose, and there goes Hughes.
Tees it up, Hronek scores! Here's a lead pass to Garland, in on goal, he shoots, he scores! Max Sasson scores!
It's no secret every Stanley Cup champion has a roster filled from top to bottom with players that can contribute to winning the tough games.
The Florida Panthers back-to-back Stanley Cup champions!
The one-goal games, the physical games, the Game 7s, and for 2 seasons in a row, the Florida Panthers have proven they have the best depth in the NHL, a third line that propelled them to a level that hasn't been reached by any other franchise.
Here's Marchand back in with the move to the net! Scores! What a spectacular goal for Brad Marchand!
It can't be all about the superstars, and the Canucks know it almost as much as the Edmonton Oilers. They need players to step into roles that aren't too familiar with the NHL level, especially JT Miller's replacement.
Following up as Hilo gets in front, Filipino scores!
In a blockbuster trade that saw Miller sent to New York, in return the Canucks scored Filipino, a young centerman with potential but an extensive history of injuries.
Filipino, it's a little bit more simple than that, or complicated depending on how you look at it. Can you stay healthy? He's a good player, he's a good playmaker, but he's had concussion history in the past. You have to make sure that you're good.
You know, everybody knows the number one position that the Canucks have to fix is their second line center. It's always easier to solve that problem from within than trade for it. I don't know if Heedle's the answer, but I think what you're probably hoping for is that Foote can help make Heedle an important contributor for that team. If he can do that, that's a big win for your organization.
A tall order for a guy who's never played a full NHL season. Since the Miller trade, the Canucks have made a few moves to round out their roster, bringing in Marcus Pettersson from Pittsburgh to bolster their blue line, signing Kevin Lankinen to a multi-year deal, solidifying this goaltending tandem as one of the best in the NHL. But one trade brought back a hometown boy.
The opportunity on the ice with this group to be able to bring my skill set to hopefully impact the team and the group in a positive way, which I think I've done thus far and will continue to do, was a really exciting thought for me.
Evander Kane, once running mates with Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl on their Pacific Division rival Edmonton Oilers, Kane being from North Vancouver could be the spark of playoff experience, veteran leadership, and physicality this team has been lacking.
But I do think as soon as he lights someone up on the boards, as soon as he scores his first goal, I really think the majority, not all, but the majority of fans really want to get behind this guy. I know I do, because it means more for the team as well.
You know, I think everybody's just really excited to move on from last year, coming into a new season, fresh start, with a great opportunity in front of us to not only, start off well, but continue to have a great regular season, put ourselves in a position to make the playoffs, and grow as a team. So, hopefully when we get there, we can do some damage.
When he is on, there are very few players in the NHL like him. He's a physical force. He's a talented guy. He can score. He's one of the best forecheckers in the league when he's on. He can win puck battles.
Along with Kane are a few members of the returning cast that recently signed long-term extensions. After months of speculation, Brock Besser returns as a Canuck for the next 7 seasons, as well as Connor Garland and Thatcher Demko.
He was one of those top guys on the U.S. radar. Now he's not because of health. I think the Olympics is going to be a powerful motivator for a lot of players this year. He's going to be one of them. I think you need Demko if you're the Canucks to be Thatcher Demko.
As long as Lankinen, he seems pretty humble. He's not going to be the type where I demand to be number one, I'm the guy now. No, he makes almost as much as Demko this season, and then Demko then jumps up. So if they have chemistry and they're challenging each other but pushing each other, yeah, what a strong part of the team, and it's something that you don't have to worry about on a game-to-game basis.
The Canucks going to spend some time in Charlotte partying with the cup.
While the Vancouver Canucks were 6 points out of a playoff spot last year, the Abbotsford Canucks had an incredible run to the Calder Cup Finals, where they beat the Charlotte Checkers in 6 games to bring home their first Calder Cup. The Abbey Canucks were filled with young talent that's on the brink of becoming full-time NHLers. Linus Karlsson led the team in points throughout the postseason, along with Arshdeep Bains, Max Sasson, and Jonathan Lecker-Mackey, players who are expected to fill depth roles with the NHL squad this season.
And those young players are playing that well. That's a really positive thing. And whether it's whoever of them is on the team or in the lineup each night, they've shown themselves very, very well, and they're going to continue to push our group to be better, to push that leadership group to be better.
This season's Canucks only have one thing on their minds: making the playoffs, to prove to the fans, the media, and to themselves that they're contenders and not pretenders.